we were talking about for the last time, just sort of how we got here in terms of the candidates. And I was arguing that there isn't just one lever that's being pulled in the DNC, whatever that is. That's a group of people, half of whom are fired now, that brought us Hillary Clinton. It was Hillary Clinton going out there years ago, building relationships. It was other candidates saying, I'm afraid to come into the race. It was Bernie Sanders coming into the race too late and coming in as a protest candidate as opposed to one that was trying to win until much too late in the race. And it's important for people to understand this, to know that this is what it takes. You've got to build movements. Yeah, of course, you mentioned we have people on from different organizations who are supportive of Clinton. How did they not see this? But, people experience this in their daily lives. You work with people for 5 years,
Sam,
and he walks through the door as opposed to a guy who walks in from across the hall. You're going to go with a guy for 5 years.
Okay, listen, Sam. Here's what I'm trying to say. You've seen this firsthand. I've seen it firsthand. There is a blindness that overcomes these characters who believe. I don't know what else to call them, characters. I mean, it's almost like they believe and they believe and they believe to the detriment of the result. Okay, and what I mean by that is we would see them come up on, say, Ring of Fire. Okay, we would see them come up on the site. We would do a story and say, let's think about this. Let's think about the problems that Hillary's having right now. Let's think about the problem that Bill Clinton has brought to the campaign. Oh, my God. They'd come in like a bunch of pathological, nuts. And because they had such a blind spot to analysis. And we saw the same thing happen to people that are in the business of analysis. Yep. Huffington Post is in the business of analysis. Media Matters, same thing. You would go, why have you developed this blind spot to where you can't be objective? Let me tell you why. Because they were afraid of criticism. They were afraid of being overwhelmed with Hillary bots that were saying, well, we're going to leave your site because you said something mean about Hillary. No, we didn't. We never said anything mean about Hillary. We said these are things we need to think about. And it's that type of dumbed down focus that is part of this problem. And it went from top to bottom, Sam.
I mean, look, I agree, but I feel like it goes, in both ways. I mean, the fact of the matter is that Donald Trump set out to create a narrative about Hillary Clinton in the general election that had her as the world's greatest monster. And the fact of the matter is, she's not. I think there's like a pathology about money there. I think that there's a lot of greed. I think that the whole email server thing was a joke. What James Comey did, I think, is going to go
it was meaningless.
But yet, the flip side of that is, if you look at how much time the corporate media spent on that email thing, and you also, frankly, you look at even people in the liberal media, chamber talking about stuff that was meaningless, as if they're providing the truth. It cuts both ways.
37 minutes. Now, I'm not making this up. 37 minutes in corporate media was devoted towards substantive issues such as climate change, such as minimum wage, such as Social Security, such as the expansion of the Defense Department. 37 minutes, okay?
Yep, and make no mistake, Hillary Clinton, the campaign,
did the same thing.
Part of that problem because they didn't want to turn it towards that. They wanted to play on some type of personality level field. They wanted to play in a field. And that's a problem too because Donald Trump, that's the only thing he can do is to come up with a nickname for you. Had they taken this to a policy level, had they attempted, rather than to keep Paul Ryan safe and secure without having to really deal with the fact that he is sort of half endorsing Donald Trump, had they gone at them in that way, which Bernie Sanders would have done because that's all that Bernie Sanders knows how to do, frankly, I think you would have seen more coverage of that stuff, and I think you would have seen Donald Trump have to open up a two-front war with Paul Ryan. So there is blame to go around here.
Look, Sam, we're short on time. A death of the media. I mean, really, death of pollsters. I mean, how do you look at this thing? Understand, every single day was a Trump beatdown by ABC, CBS, NBC. They're at the end. I mean, there's no other way to put it. Now, did they help him in the beginning? Yeah, they invented Trump. The media invented Trump. But there at the end, it was a beatdown. And you know what? The American public could not have cared less. They could not have cared less. There was no credibility of the talking heads. These talking heads they have on there are so old. They got barnacles all over them. Half of them have really had no meaningful experience in the trenches. And so all of a sudden, all these ridiculous talking points that you'd hear every day, this is what I think on the projections on the polls. This is what women are doing. Here's what Latinos are doing. Here's what African Americans are doing. Latinos are going to change this election. It was nauseating. And all of a sudden, we realize how irrelevant corporate media has become, how irrelevant pollsters have become.
I mean, it's shocking. I mean, I think everybody was surprised by this. I think they were caught completely off guard. And, I think there is a real allergy, for reasons that we talk about probably every week, to not tell the real story of just where the country stands in terms of what kind of policies they want. They're not going to criticize corporate power because they are corporate power. When you are watching, and look, I go on these things. I go on these networks. I work for one of them, more or less. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you right now that they are not. It's not you're watching a network that's beholden to a corporation. It is the public relations department of the corporation, and they throw in some other stuff. So in the meantime, and that's why I like going on there, to disrupt that. But that's
throwing
what it is.
Throwing the $10 billion they made off this election because of Citizens United. Yeah.
TheRingOfFire.com. Honest, hard-hitting news, free from corporate influence. Your destination for progressive news, commentary, and interviews. TheRingOfFire.com.